It's the day of Shravan Purnima, okay? And if you travel to the north of India, you will find a sister tying Rakhi on her brother's wrist, lovingly. And if you travel to the south, you will find a young Brahmin boy. He's changing his janeo, his poonal. Now let's travel to Gujarat. Devotees here are visiting Shiva temple to tie a thread around Shivling.
Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya.
Three distinct rituals, three distinct parts of India. Can you guess what is common between them? One obvious connection is that they are all celebrated on the same day of Shravan Purnima, right? But the more fascinating part is something that you can actually touch and see. The thread, the sutra, which is binding it all together. In today's video, we explore what our ancient texts say about each of these three distinct rituals. Let us start with Raksha Bandhan. If you remember our last episode, we shared the story of King Mahabali and we saw how, at King's request, Lord Vishnu actually stayed back with him. Now, with Lord not being there in Vaikuntha, it suddenly felt empty. And Goddess Lakshmi, she started missing her husband dearly. So she decides to seek Narad Muni's help, the sage who always seemed to know more than anybody else. And more importantly, he always seemed to know what to do next. Narad Muni had a perfect plan. He asked Goddess Lakshmi to disguise herself as an ordinary woman and then travel to Sutala Loka. Disguised this way, Goddess reaches Sutala Loka and asks Mahabali for a safe place to stay. And Mahabali, he immediately promises to protect her. Unaware that the woman he is sheltering is the goddess of wealth herself. And then came the holy day of Shravan Moon. Seizing the perfect moment, the disguised goddess again approached Mahabali. With deep affection, she tied a sacred cotton thread firmly around his wrist and prayed for his long life, success, and well being. Touched by this gesture, Mahabali smiled and asked the goddess to wish for absolutely anything that she would like. Then the magic happened right before his eyes. The humble disguise of goddess began to fade away. The simple woman vanished, and the goddess revealed her true radiant self. With a gentle smile, she told Mahabali that she would like to take her husband back to Vaikuntha. Bound by his promise, Mahabali agrees and promises to let go of the Lord. But with a condition: the Lord will only go back after 4 months. What are these 4 months? These 4 months are the months of Chaturmasa. Remember Chaturmasa from here, okay? We will talk about it at the end of this episode as well. And that is how one of the stories of Raksha Bandhan relates to the thread, its bond, and its promise. A tradition which continues even today. Now, traveling to the south of India, where we saw the young boy change his holy thread, that is Janeo. In the Vedic tradition, this annual ritual is called Upakarma or Avani Avitam in Tamil Nadu, and it is celebrated on the same day of Shravan Purnima as Rakhi. To understand why this thread is renewed every year, we have to go back to a story from the very beginning of the creation of universe. Before humans had a world to live in, there was only the vast cosmic ocean. And upon these endless waters rested Lord Vishnu. Then from Lord Vishnu emerged a lotus, and upon that lotus appeared Brahmaji with a very important job to create the universe. But there was a small problem. Without knowing how universe is supposed to work, how was Brahmaji supposed to create it? Enter the Vedas, the sacred knowledge necessary to understand and maintain the cosmic order. Brahmaji is entrusted with this knowledge. And then, as it happens in any story, two villains also enter, named Madhu and Ketaba. They steal the Vedas from Brahmaji and take them to the depths of the cosmic ocean. But what do the Vedas have to do with the sacred thread being changed every year? Hold on to that question. Coming back to Brahmaji, he is now troubled. Without the Vedas, he no longer has the knowledge he needs to create the universe. So he turns to Lord Vishnu for help. And Lord, he takes the horse-headed form of Hayagriva. He then enters the depths of cosmic ocean and finds the stolen Vedas. Upon finding that Lord Vishnu has taken the Vedas back, Madhu and Ketaba confront the Lord. A fierce battle unfolds across the cosmic ocean. Eventually, the two asuras are defeated and Vedas are brought back to Lord Brahma. With the Vedas restored, Brahmaji could finally continue his work of creating the universe. However, creating the universe was only just the beginning. The knowledge of Vedas had to be carried forward to generations of human beings. Do you remember the earlier question we asked you? What do Vedas have to do with the sacred thread? See, the teachings from Vedas had to be passed on to the next generation. And so to do this, the Rishi Munis started teaching and narrating the Vedas. Every year, on Shravan Purnima, this commitment of teaching and learning the Vedas is renewed. And symbolically, the act of changing the Janeu or Ponal marks this exact promise. Now let's go to the third thread, which takes us back to Gujarat. This ritual is called Pavitropana and it has a much older story behind it. In ancient temple scriptures called agamas, we find a ritual called Pavitra Arupana. This is nothing but ceremonial placing of sacred thread or garland on the deity. But how did it all start? Now, when you worship, there may be times when one has not followed the ritual fully. A prayer might have been missed, a ritual might have been performed incorrectly, or an offering could have been forgotten. So, once a year, thread or garland was offered to the deity as a way of purifying and completing the worship.
Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya.
In Gujarat, it today lives on as Pavitropana, and on Shravan Purnima, devotees offer sacred thread to Shiva. And hence, on the full moon of Shravan, a simple thread becomes a bond in three different forms: a bond between siblings, a bond with the Vedas and the generations before us, and a bond between the devotee and the divine. Now, if you remember, we mentioned Chaturmasa earlier in the story. Chaturmasa are the 4 months of monsoon when tradition asks us to slow down and reflect on what truly matters to us. It is also what Lord Vishnu reminds us to do when he goes into Yoga Nidra at this time. And these threads, maybe that is what they are also reminding us, to look internally and renew our bonds, renew our knowledge, and renew our connection with the divine. Because sometimes, to move forward, we first need to look within. Thank you so much. Keep watching.